Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody had a wonderful day yesterday and hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. So, I missed yesterday. Sorry about that. Had some stuff to take care of. But we are back for today. Yay. Also, last night, I went ahead and did a tutorial video on the Real Gas Giants mod. It's a little quick and dirty. Not super in depth. I don't go into all the options for the configuration file, but it should hopefully teach people how to use the admin panel to a certain extent, how to spawn in items, how to spawn in planets, and then also how to locate the save files for space engineers. So there's a lot of information in there. It should be easy to follow. If you guys check it out, let me know what you think, that sort of thing. For today, though, first of all, I'm a little disappointed. I'm disappointed because initially, within the first few days of playing with the NPC provider mod, we were getting attacked like crazy. I could not keep up with the amount of attacks that we were taking, and now, nothing. I'm not getting attacked by anything. Not the space pirates, not the danger signals, nothing. Nothing is attacking me. And so I'm a little disappointed in this. And it makes me wonder if maybe I'm doing something wrong. If the mod is set up incorrectly. Like I don't get what's going on. We got danger here. They're not, like, nothing's attacking me. Maybe I should be pissing off the space pirates more. I don't know. But that aside, I was really kind of hoping I would get attacked more than I am currently. So there's that. Otherwise, though, one of the big things that I am wanting to look at is I never did drill out this space. So I guess we'll go ahead. We'll knock this out real quick because it won't take too long. And then from there, I think I need, here we go. I had adjusted the music. There we go. There. Okay. Adjusting it for my own edification so I can actually hear myself better. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, so I might be a little bit out there today on account of the fact that I was up way too late last night, binge watching the hell out of that show Murderbot. Watched the entire thing from episode 1 to episode 10. Highly recommend it. It is an absolutely amazing show and not overly long. In fact, it is, each episode's about 25 to 35 minutes long, but it is incredibly dense with stuff happening. Oftentimes what can happen in the longer run episodes, 45 minutes to an hour, is that it can sometimes drag on in certain spots and just take too long, but not really go anywhere. And so in the case of Murderbot, they do a really good job of balancing out letting moments breathe while at the same time packing a lot of stuff, a lot of story into each episode. God, I will be so happy when this cough goes away. That aside, let us continue. But I found that I really enjoyed it. Really well acted, great special effects. The story was a whole lot of fun. I know it's based on a manhwa or manga, I'm not sure which, and there is a difference, sort of. But I know it's based off of something by the same name, which I never read personally. So I don't know how faithful it is to the source material. I do know, however, that it is really good, and it is worth the watch if you're looking for something a little bit different. Well acted, great cast. Everybody just works so well together. It's beautiful. And, yeah, it's got a good ending, too. It's satisfying. So, definitely recommended. Check out Murderbot if you get the opportunity. Totally worth it. But we're going to go ahead and get this drilled out. And then from there, I'm not sure. Because honestly, I don't know. I find myself in a strange spot. Because of the fact that there's really not too much else that I can do or explore in Space Engineers. I've kind of reached, I won't say my personal limits, because I know there's still a lot that I could learn or that I could play around with, that I could experiment with. But I've reached the limits of where I find enjoyment, I think is the better way to describe that. Like in this situation, I was hoping that I would be getting attacked more. But unfortunately, as it stands, I'm not. And I think that's where modular encounters is actually a little bit superior to NPC provider, is because of the fact that it is primarily a hostile situation instead of a peaceful one. And especially in circumstances where, you know, viewers like to watch me in panic mode. And so by having all of these friendly situations, installations and factions and whatnot spread around me, I'm having fewer and fewer opportunities to get into trouble. And especially as I am a more defensive player than offensive, now with that being said, it might not be a bad idea to see about constructing some sort of small attack craft to go poke some of this stuff. But before I do that, I need to go ahead and see about getting probably a med bay put up, med room of some sort. I know I have my survival kit, and the survival kit is good, although it's not currently connected to anything, which I should probably fix that. We'll just finish this off. We're almost done here, and then of course I've got the rest. I might be able to just use the puncture to get the majority of this and then just clean out what I need to. The biggest problem is just that back wall. So if and actually drilling out the back wall might not be a bad idea. But yeah, Like I was really hoping NPC provider would be a little bit more hostile in certain circumstances. Now, if I go ahead and drop the faction that I have, I don't know if that will change things. It's worth a shot. But we'll have to see. All right, there we go. There goes the bottom area. Ooh, time to go recharge. Then I'm still trying to figure out if I want to drill out the roof or not of this main area. It's one of those I'm a little bit on the fence about. I kind of like it the way that it is because it makes it look interesting. But if I want to put any sort of doors in the entryway, I need to cover it, or I need to drill it out so that way I can get the doors in there. I don't know yet, because I still also have to figure out how I'm going to get all of my conveying and piping in place. All right. Let's see. Clean up this lip a little bit here. Yeah, so my best option is to just go ahead and I'll carve out the back here. Hey, what's up, MC Master? Or is it Mick Master? But yes, it is satisfying. It is one of those that I could just sit here, put on some like lo-fi or just some like liquid drum and bass. Just chill while doing this for a while. Carve out a whole bunch of rock. Refill every once in a while. Good stuff, good times. It's also the kind of stuff that makes me honestly, I think MC Master works out a little bit better. And most likely because they're not together. If they were together, Mick Master would actually be something that would probably happen more frequently. But I think MC Master works as well. Which is funny because then there's the MR for Mr. But it's the strange way. Gotcha. But it's the strange way that we interpret usernames. Like the number of times people have called me Cruz. And I'm like, I see it. I understand it. It's wrong, but I get it. So totally get how we can sometimes mess up even the simplest of names. Ah. Yeah, there we go. One of the other things I did since I got paid was finally managed to actually go ahead and get myself a copy of No Man's Sky on Steam. For years now, every time that damn game goes on sale, it goes on sale exactly when I have no money. Every damn time. Finally, I noticed it was on sale. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Saw it was like 23 bucks, something like that. I was like, you know what? That shit's mine. I'm getting it. I don't care. Oh, why is that? There we go. Actually, I know what I need to do. Sure, we're empty. Okay, cool. Bring this over here so that I just have a ready available recharging unit and extra lights. So kind of clean this up a little bit. Well, and that's a funny thing. One of the things is that the genre of game that No Man's Sky inhabits is not quite as large a genre as some of the others. Because if you look at something comparable in release status and stature, Cyberpunk was equally hyped up before its release. There were press releases, there were trailers, there was hype out the ass for Cyberpunk. It was supposed to be the GTA killer. It was the next big thing in first-person RPGs. It was going to revolutionize the way that we looked at that genre of game. When it came out, it was a broken, buggy mess that required a huge amount of effort from CD Projekt Red to even get it to the status of being majorly playable. But they got there. And they got there in such a way as to then turn it around and make it into something even bigger than what it originally was going to be. Sure, there's still a little bit of a stigma around Cyberpunk, but for the most part, most people have looked beyond its launch and are looking at what it is today. And I think in large part, the same thing has happened to No Man's Sky. I think that there are enough people who went, this game has gotten better, give it a shot. And a lot of people have. But it also inhabits that area where it's space exploration, base building, survival, RPG light. And that cross-section of ideas does not have the largest of audiences. Awesome. I have played it off and on over the years, primarily by way of pirated versions. But then also my brother, who has the Xbox Game Pass, I've used that a couple of times. Oh, hey, thank you for the follow there, Lost Algorithm. Much appreciated. But I've played it off and on for years. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. It is actually a really good game. And it looks like every patch that they bring out, they're adding new interesting stuff to it. It also looks like they've learned from their mistakes And Hello Games is actually taking their time to work on their next title, which I'm super happy to see. I'm actually really kind of excited to see what they do with Light No Fires, because that looks like a cool game, and especially running on the technology that No Man's Sky runs off of, having an entire actual world for your RPG playground sounds awesome. And it's something that I've wanted for a really long time. Now the question is, can they just pull it off in general? Yes. Now, in all fairness, the size and the scope of No Man's Sky, I know, right? But the size and scope of No Man's Sky is a little bit of a hall of mirrors kind of effect. I'm not saying it's tiny, but a lot of it is... a lot of it really just comes down to the fact that they are using really cool techniques to make it seem bigger than it is. Of course, that's also the magic of video games anyway. Being able to make things seem more than they really are has always been one of those nice things about video games in general, and it's why we play them so damn much. There we go. Get more and more of this. Partly, they're using the same engine, or at least a modified version from what I understand, for Light No Fires as No Man's Sky. And so a lot of the tech that they are developing for Light No Fires, they're actually backporting in No Man's Sky. So Worlds 1 and Worlds 2 patches, those specifically were to add that tech from Light No Fires into No Man's Sky, which helped considerably in terms of helping it look better and feel better. Yeah, the world gen specifically, also flora and fauna, that sort of stuff. It's just like what Keen has been doing with Space Engineers 1 and 2. If there is a feature that they can port between the two games, they're trying to, if it makes sense. Like the light survival elements, they're working on sharing that between the two games. Let's get that. There we go. I think I'll just back and forth this for now. Try and get this side done, and then the other, and then the back. But yeah, the other thing that I really appreciate about No Man's Sky, and I think I've mentioned this previously, but I really appreciate the work that they've done on making it a VR compatible game. There are very few other games out there that handle VR as more than just, you know, a different way of viewing the two-dimensional screen. A lot of games will be like, yeah, we're VR compatible, but you're still going to need like a mouse and keyboard, or the motion controls don't work correctly, that sort of thing. Whereas with No Man's Sky, they really built VR into it with the understanding that you are interacting with this world. And so, you know, you have to use the motion controllers to grab onto the controls of the ship. You have to reach behind you to grab your multi-tool. You use your wrists in order to see your menus and whatnot. And so all of it feels integrated into the experience in a very natural way, a very organic way, compared to a lot of the other games that are just like, here's how you can look at the world in VR. Oh man, yeah. I know, right? That would be hella awesome. I have dabbled in video game development off and on for years. I am by no means an expert. I can muddle through some things and I can read tutorials. I'm pretty good at that. So the tech that actual game developers come up with and the way that they get certain features working, hats off to them. Because that's a level of wizardry, as you mentioned, that it is beyond me. Like, fundamentally, I understand how it can work. But how it does work is a completely different thing. Alrighty. Oh, man. Tell you what, though. Right now is probably one of the most interesting times to be a gamer. With so much happening in and out of the industry, it is interesting. And not just from a gaming standpoint, I mean from an everything standpoint. The social media around gaming, the business side of gaming. Yeah, exactly. Like, over the past year has been interesting to watch because we're seeing all sorts of stuff happening all over the place. Personalities are coming and going. And that is fair. In fact, actually, one of the things that cropped up over the past couple of days that has me a little worried is that apparently Steam is having to capitulate to credit card companies because credit card companies don't want a certain type of content to be purchasable. They have this strange feeling that they get to dictate how money is spent. Now, currently, they can get away with that because they are in a position of monetary power. You need credit cards for most shopping on the internet. But I would argue that and it's really shaky ground, and of course I'm no law expert, but it really, really feels like they're skirting real close to the idea of censorship. Now, they are a private business, and private businesses get to set their own rules when it comes to how and why and what they do business with. I am totally aware of the fact that that is on them to stipulate. If they want to do business with a company that sells spicy content, or if they don't, that's on them. They're allowed to do that. But there has to be a point when we look at a business and we realize these are no longer traditional businesses, but instead, because of their size, because of how big they are, and how much inherent power they have, they go beyond just being a business. It's like the idea of video streaming. If you're a tiny site and you do like 4 million views a day, then you should have certain rights and measures afforded to you as a small company. Absolutely it is. But if you're doing, let's say, like billions of views a day, then you're no longer just a regular old company. You start to go into platform territory. You are more than just the original intention. The same with credit card companies. They do millions of dollars per day in transactions, probably per hour. And so the fact that they get to stipulate to companies what they can and cannot sell if they want to do business with them kind of feels like a form of censorship. And of course, there's also a lot of other parts or aspects to that. But I think at the end of the day, we as consumers need to start swinging our consumer dicks around going, no, you are a company that is meant to service the consumer. You are not a company that dictates to other businesses what they are and are not allowed to do. Because it used to be that credit card companies were used, you could use your credit card on anything. It didn't matter. And I think what they're going to find, and especially as there is this constant sort of focusing and narrowing of what we are and are not allowed to do, that they are actually going to start losing money rather than making more. Because the more you tell people, and we found this out during, COVID here in the US, much to the rest of the world's chagrin, the more you tell people what they can't do, the more pissed off they're going to do, or more pissed off they're going to get, and the more likely they are to do the thing you tell them not to. Which then just winds up costing people a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time that could have been better serviced if you just left well enough alone. No, it doesn't. Many companies have found this out over the years, but so many people seem to forget this lesson. Here we go. Now, obviously, there are certain avenues of spicy content that should be restricted. I'm not saying everything needs to be open 100%. However, I think what we need to remember is that the adult industry as a whole has also been one of the largest drivers of tech advancement over the past 40 years. I don't think we would be where we are on the internet without those sorts of websites. I don't think we would be where we're at in certain digital media without those kind of companies. And you're right. A lot of companies have, well, and that's, I think what has been happening specifically in America is that we have become the land of the investment firm. It is no longer about the companies themselves, and it is about the 5 or maybe 6 total investment firms that are constantly investing billions of dollars, changing the very thing that made them interested in that company to begin with, then dumping it for pennies on the dollar to recoup whatever they want, get insurance claims or what have you, and move on to the next thing. Well, okay, and that again is another situation all in and of itself. Level of access to various types of content, and what content is worse than other content. That's a conversation we've had before here on the stream, is why is it that ultra-violent content is perfectly accessible while explicitly sexual content is not? Because when you look at, let's say you're looking at a romantic visual novel, none of the extreme stuff, none of the non-consent, none of the rape or anything like that, but just a purely romantic visual novel that also has explicit sexual content. How is that worse than like Call of Duty? Or how is that worse than Doom? The latest editions of Doom. Where, and especially in the case of Doom, where you're like ripping limbs off of things, ripping apart bodies, blood everywhere, ultra violence, everybody's dying. Like, ooh, did I just see something? No, I didn't. I got excited for. Oh, yes. This is, sorry, getting distracted here for a second. This is about to be a really good day. We need to move something real quick. Actually, we need to move a lot of things real quick, if at all possible. But specifically, I need to move you. And we need to move this over here. And you're actually going to have to sit here for a second while I get some materials for welding. Okay. Go there. I need 2 of these. Obviously, I'm going to have to move this again, but that's okay. Okay. Give me a second. I'll get back on topic here, but that's what I wanted. Okay. Sorry. So there are these 2 danger signals out here. They're kind of hard to see because of everything else. But those signals should hopefully start sending some stuff at me. So I just want to move a little bit of this stuff out of the way. The more valuable stuff. Yes. Well, sort of. I'm actually running a mod called NPC Provider. And part of that mod is that it will actually have PvE encounters. In vanilla Space Engineers, though, there are PvE encounters that are kind of rough. When you're in space, you have the opportunity to come across the space pirates. There's also, and let's see if I can't see one. But there's also Factorum encounters. They're basically deep space encounters where you can get the Prototech stuff, which is the highest tier. And those can be kind of brutal because if you find an installation, you have to get in there. You have to typically disable 3 warheads. Once you disable the warheads, then you can go ahead and start getting stuff out of there. But you also have a period of time before enemies will then spawn and you have to take out those enemies. So, but I believe there are also still planetary encounters, but I don't know how many of them are actually properly dangerous. So it's one of those that holy shit, Brad, you are like a month late on that one. I swear to God, I had a server last month. In fact, I had a server the entirety of last month, from the start of June to the end of June. Okay, let's shut that off. Yep, I had a server up and running whole month. Now, unfortunately, what wound up happening was the server, I brought the server out and then Dune dropped. And I got kind of sucked into Dune a little bit more than I thought I would. So yeah, that happened. So yeah, about that. You guys actually going to attack? Now, Dune is a really good game. Dune Awakening, I have really enjoyed it. I have put a lot of hours into it. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Never seen a strange signal. That's different. Nice. Oh yeah, Dune. Yeah. Well, and that happens. If it goes on sale, I highly recommend getting it. It is a lot of fun. They basically took a lot of the good stuff from Conan Exiles. In fact, basically they took Conan Exiles and then just put Dune around it instead. And so they did a pretty good job. Oh, gotcha. What, in Space Engineers? Yes, I play with mods in Space Engineers. I play with a ton of mods. Like, these thrusters are modded. The danger signals out there are modded. Those are modded. What other mods? I've got a few others. Honestly, I haven't played standalone DayZ in years, because I originally got it when it was first released, like within the first few months of its release. Played it a little bit and then just never stuck it out. Oh, absolutely, McMaster. Like, it's Space Engineers as a game is by itself, just vanilla Space Engineers. They have added so much to it over the years that they have managed to make it better than it originally was. A lot like No Man's Sky in that respect. But then on top of that, they continue to add to it. In fact, there's new DLC coming out later this year, I believe. They haven't specifically said when it's coming out, but I'm assuming a little bit later this year. That's going to add a whole slew of new gameplay mechanics to the game. They're going to be updating the weather to add all different types of weather effects to it. They're going to be adding a new survival mechanic to it, so that you'll actually have, I believe, thirst and hunger, and you will have to do things like farming, which sounds amazing. And then on top of that, a lot of the stuff that they're adding is going to be ported towards Space Engineers 2 as well, with minor twists based on that. Yes. The server was primarily PvE. And I say was because I only ran it for the month. It was more or less a test to see how well, A, I could run a server, and B, we were also testing the NPC provider mod. And unfortunately, I screwed it up. So that was the thing. Well, mostly it was just PvE because of the fact that everybody just wanted to work things out. I'm not a big PvP person, honestly. I'm not very good at it. I'm not as big into it these days. Like, as I've gotten older, I have wanted to engage with PvP a lot less. Like, about the only game where I actually do PvP on a regular occurrence would be like Grand Theft Auto Online. It really depends, McMaster. It kind of depends on how Keen winds up handling it. But it's also one of those options that'll be something that you can toggle. You won't have to play with it. You can turn it off whenever you want. It'll probably be a situation where you can turn it off but still have the blocks as decorative, which I'm totally okay with as well. That's true, Brett. Certain battles can be a lot of fun. I think it really is more about the people that you're fighting with and less about the fight itself. Because I know I've gotten into I tend to get into a lot of PvP situations with my brother and sister in games. And we generally have a pretty good time. Lots of laughter, lots of fuck yous back and forth. You know, the usual sort of sibling thing. And just, you know, having a good time. Yeah, I don't do drones. I think my biggest problem with drones is that there are too many areas where something can go wrong and screw everything up. At least that's why I don't do drones related stuff. Okay. The placement of the factory doesn't matter. It's the actual drones themselves. There are too many pain points. Personally, if I need something to get done, I just go and I do it. Well, fortunately there, McMaster, the nice thing is that you can actually make custom weapons without using mods. There is a custom turret controller block that allows you to use rotors and hinges to make turrets that have all the same functionality as a regular turret, and then you just add the various weapons to them. So you can make automated weaponry. It's really cool. All right, let's get back to drilling because I don't think those signals are going to do anything, which makes me sad. They've had every opportunity to actually send something and they haven't sent anything yet. So, back to drilling, boys. Of course, if anything does attack, I do have like 6 turrets on top of the entrance. So, anything that comes this way will get nuked pretty quick. And then I'll be able to go ahead and get our repair stuff going. Yeah, that's true. Like, losing blueprints sucks. That's why I'm glad that the stuff that I actually wanted to... Well, okay. I should say, when I did my reinstall of Windows onto the new hard drive, fortunately, my save directory was on a different drive, so I was able to just copy stuff directly over and kept everything. There we go. Well, the nice thing is with that, McMaster, is on top of just the designs themselves, there are a few mods that add the actual Star Wars thrusters to the game, as well as Star Wars weapons. So doing full-on Star Wars ship designs, completely doable. But I think with Space Engineers 2, that might be the better thing to wait for. So right now, the way that Space Engineers 1 works is that you have grids. Everything is a grid. Everything is a grid that you build with blocks. However, there are 2 types of grids. There are small grids and there are large grids. Large grid is typically what gets used for most bases, as well as for ships and stations. Small grid is usually used for smaller ships, rovers, things of that nature. But with Space Engineers 2, there's what's called the unified grid. And so the unified grid can be anything from the large 2.5 meter block all the way down to a 0.5 meter block. Or I think it's like 25 centimeters or something like that. Yeah, good luck with that one, Brad. But what that means in terms of the unified grid is that the ability to build ship designs drastically increases. And so you have a lot more opportunity to do not only the big outside grand stuff, but also to do smaller details. And because the modding tools that they're coming out with are essentially very similar to the same tools that they use for making the game, it is, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for mod authors to bring out some absolutely and truly inspired mods, which most of the community is looking forward to. I imagine once we get survival in Space Engineers 2, because right now it's just space, and creative mode. But once we get a proper survival put in, I imagine that there will be several mod authors that go ahead and sort of port Space Engineers 1 over into Space Engineers 2, since they will work a little bit different. I know how drones work. Like, I built drones. But generally speaking, I just don't like them. I'd much rather, if I need a drone to do something, that's something that I myself could be doing. It's a personal preference, not a judgment on anything. That's all it is. For me, let's put it this way. If I have a drone going out and doing something, that is gameplay that I am not currently taking part in. And so I would much rather just go out and do it myself and engage with that gameplay. I don't think those guys are going to attack me, which makes me sad. Now, of course, the funny thing is, I'll play Factorio, and I'll go ahead and have, like, spawn in with 50 robots already, and capable of doing that, but... And see, like, again, that is a perfectly acceptable way of doing things. Like, if that's what makes you happy, and if that's the gameplay that you enjoy, fucking do it. But personally, if I'm going to get my hands dirty, I'm going to get my hands dirty. I want to be the one that's doing it. Now, I have used remote, well, let's put it unmanned aerial vehicles, basically. I do have UAVs. I have built attack drones. One of the other playthroughs that I was doing, I had built a series of small attack drones that actually did fairly well. I was surprised at how well they handled things. But it really just comes down to the fact, oh God, yes. Oh man, like, I've told this story several times, but years ago, my sister was following a Twitch streamer who originally was like for Call of Duty and stuff, but she wound up having a Minecraft server. And so my sister wound up getting access to the server and then eventually became a mod on the server. And once she got access, she was like, hey, do you want to join this Minecraft server? And I was like, yeah, sure, if you don't mind and if they don't mind. So I got access to it. And at the time I was wake and bake kind of stoner. And so I went way out, or at least I thought way out. Apparently it wasn't far enough, but I went way out and started working on my own little place that eventually grew into a giant temple complex. And for a really long time, I was kind of the only person that was out there until somebody discovered me. And then from there, everybody was like, hey, can I build next to you? And I'm like, damn it, I'm out here because I want to stay away from you guys. Yeah, you got to watch out for that. Actually, there was a video that I saw a few months ago. It was from a I think it was from a German Minecraft team where they were building an entire massive rail network using a new type of ice and rail setup, if I remember correctly. Or it was ice and... But anyway, it was just, they were making this massive, completely plotted out rail network that you had, like there were junctions and on-ramps and off-ramps and stations and all of this crap. And it's just like, you know, that's what I think certain servers need. Sometimes. Oh my God. I can't breathe. All right, give me a second here. Oh yeah, I should probably recharge. I'm going to take a quick AFK and I will be right back. All right, there we go. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's right. I can still move. We got top, sides, back. Should be good. See about. Oh, and those danger signals went away. Son of a bitch. You know, funny you should mention I show speed. I've tried to watch other streamers and I have such a difficult time with that. Like, it's one of those that I just, like, I'll catch their clips and I'll be fine with that. You know, catch them on YouTube, see the news, that sort of thing. But actually watching other streamers is difficult for me. Now, I've watched some of the guys that hang out here, like Turnup and Code and whatnot. But like a lot of those other streamers, especially the bigger ones, I can't watch them. Not my kind of content, definitely. And just make sure we get that cleaned up. And I love this ship. This is one of those few or rare ships that I design and build that I'm like, you know what? This one I really like. It's just, it's fun to use. It's fun to fly. It's incredibly functional. Gets the job done. I'm really, really looking forward to survival mode in Space Engineers 2 to see what designs we can come up with in that game. Like, I want survival in place to make the ship designs viable, because you can design ships in that game all day long, but without function, they're just pretty things, and I don't necessarily want to make pretty things all the time. Let's see. Get this knocked out. A little bit of that rounding error there. That was one of the things that when Space Engineers 2 was first released, we were looking at the voxels. And I believe it was Barockstar who actually noticed that you could still do these small chunks of voxel that would mysteriously rip holes through your ship if you weren't careful. YT. Let's get this row of stuff. And hopefully The upper stuff should be pretty easy to get, and we'll be finished. And then I think I had a welding version of this blueprint. I'll have to double check. We'll be able to switch over to that, get the camps turned back on, and then this vehicle bay we can go ahead and get welded up. And after that, I think what I'll do is, I don't know. I think I might start looking at the potential for the internals of the base. I don't really need to. So, I mean, it's a doable thing and it's not that difficult. But the reason why I don't need to is because I have these blocks called camp. Component and material something or other. But basically, they're wireless printers, if you will, and grinders. And all I have to do is turn them on, and anything that needs to be welded up, they will automatically weld up as long as I have parts for it. So I don't actually need a 3D printer. I just use those. Plus, I don't have any ships that I want to print up. That's the other thing. Is that currently I just don't, like, I don't have a lot of ships that I use. Right now, the most ships that I have, I've got 3 ships. And the reason why I have the 3 ships is I have this one for drilling. I have the escape pod that I retrofit. It's acting as my lifter for parts. And then I've got Oops, which was just the initial, I need a drilling ship. But I don't dare get rid of it because at some point in time, you need one of those ships around the base. So I just always keep those around after I retire them. Because at some point in time, you realize, crap, I just need a tiny little ship to get into this spot that's got a drill. So I don't get rid of those ships anymore. Let's get rid of this. There we go. And it looks like our little danger signals went away, so no attacks this time, unfortunately. And hopefully it'll just be 3 passes, maybe 4 total on this one. Oh. Oh, there was a little bit of, okay. There we go. Now I wonder if I don't think I have the bigger drills. Ooh. That might be kind of fun to add. So I have a mod that has some bigger drills. I think they're from Rebel. Rebel also has a lights pack that I really like. Let's land real quick. Okay. No, I just have the Prototech ones. We're going to add that real quick. Save. Exit. Save. Again. It never hurts to save more. God, I wish I could get rid of this cough. Come on, unload the world already. There you go. All right, we got to load. Provided for edit. Mods. Lights. Nope. Shoot. Now I have to try and remember which one it is. God, I wish I was still smoking. At least then I'd have a good excuse. It might be that one. I doubt it though, but we'll throw it on anyway. Nope. Nope. Culling, which is actually kind of useful. Add. Nope. God damn it. Defense shields is what I usually use, but I'm trying this different one, I think it is. Was I? Where is it? At least I thought I was. Oh yeah, I'm using deflector shields this time. There it is. Although there's a new one that I wanted to start taking a look at, and I'll have to grab it later. Is it energy shields? Yeah, one of the two. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by, McMaster. Have a good one, buddy. Giant drills. There we go. That should be good. And then I think it was down here. Not that one. Oh well, we'll look for it later. That should be good. And load. And of course, this is going to take its sweet time to get loaded up. The more mods you have, the longer it takes. The longer it takes, the more I want to play solitaire while I'm waiting for it to load. Yeah, while that's doing that, let's check something real quick. I've actually been really happy. This past couple of months, my subscriber count on YouTube has been slowly increasing, which is awesome. I started out, I want to say I was at 100 a few months ago, Then over the past month and a half, I've actually gone up like 3 or 4, which, you know, it's kind of like, woo. But, you know, when you're a small creator, it's nice to watch those numbers slowly increasing. Especially because primarily the only thing that I've really been posting are just the VODs from my streams. So they're raw, they're uncut. It's the full 2 to 5 hours that I usually stream. And then yesterday was the first time I posted up a proper tutorial video, which was covering the Real Gas Giants mod, which that was a pain in the ass because this is the funny part. So I use OBS to do all this, and I have my setup for streaming, which has all the graphics and the webcam and all of that. But for recording a video, I didn't have anything set up, so I had to start something new for that. But in so doing, I only was capturing the game. I wasn't capturing anything else. So midway through the recording, I had to add the desktop view. Only in the recording, it didn't catch all that. So the part where I'm discussing like how to find your save, how to edit files, that stuff didn't show up, which was kind of annoying. It's like, son of a bitch. Okay. There's the drills I was after. So these much bigger drills I could potentially put on the front of this ship here. Take out the smaller drills and put these bigger ones in place. I would only be able to do 2 of them though, comfortably. I might just have to look at doing a larger version of the ship that has like 4 of them. But yes, these things would be massive and beautiful. Maybe. You know what? Let's see what we can get away with here. First of all, we'll get flipped around. Next up. I know, right? Well, I had to turn some settings down. You know how it is. When you've only got a wee little video card. Awesome. Good luck there, Brett. Let's get those up and running. I'm going to... Oh shit, I forgot. I need my projector turned off. Although I'm not sure why it didn't finish that up. It should have everything. Okay. Now, what I want is... not that. Okay, so let's see. I need to remove that. She's your mom too. But you're not wrong. This should be fun. Okay. Oh, shoot. I've been pulling all this stuff. Okay, yeah. Build the rest as well. It looks so awkward like that. It's going to be real interesting. I need... Do I not have? I don't. Let's put some floodlights on here. There we go. There we are. All right. Let's see how well this works. Oh, yeah. No, that works great. There we go. That is a superior drilling experience. I think they clear out a little bit more area than the other drills do, so I'll take it. Oh yeah, that is much better. And once we get this all cleared out, I need to go turn off the camps, and I need to go swap the blueprints. Hey, what's up, Tommy? How you doing, buddy? And there we go. Awesome. All right, camps go off. Blueprint gets changed. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Gotta turn you back on. And blueprint. I need... Junction, vehicle bay, drill guide. I don't have a welding guide. for the vehicle bay. That's fine, actually. Although... put that one back at least. And... yeah, we'll come back to that. For now, let's go. How am I doing on... how do I have that? All right, that is a bit weird, but you know, it is what it is. Do what? Ordinarily, I can understand what you're trying to say, but what? Okay, why? I know a few games where I've lost time on. Yes, Factorio is one of them. Oh, I know why that's happening. Oh, dumb cruise. Okay. Yes, Warframe would be another one. Early days of WoW, definitely. I gotta remove these, unfortunately. Okay, that's off. Camp goes on. I know why that's happening. Because Cruz is an idiot. That's not what I wanted, but that'll work. Yes, classic to Wrath, definitely. And then, oddly enough, I did actually kind of enjoy Warlords of Draenor. Not my proudest moment, but I did enjoy it. Okay, so what was happening was I needed a T-junction here because I specifically had these separated. Yep. Had that happen quite a few times. Yeah. I never really got that far in Dragon Isles because the point where Dragon Isles was relevant, and the only reason why I was running it is because I was trying to get to the stuff for that next one, which I can't remember its name because that's how irrelevant it actually was. The latest one. Not the Heart of Azure, although I really did enjoy that one too. Oh shit. No, the Battle for Azeroth, I think that's what it was. I don't know, maybe. I forget. There's so many of them. War Within, thank you, yes. That one. Which, War Within was okay. There were aspects of it that I enjoyed, but I think overall it was just kind of meh, you know? Not quite as good as it could have been. Like they've lost. Oh, yeah, camp. Let me see if I can bring up. Space Engineers Workshop. Would be that one. I absolutely love it. It's great. Yeah, pretty much. I respond to lots of different things, that's for certain. Most of them not nice. Oh, wait, what? That should be. Oh, you know, you're right. Damn. That's fair, man. That's fair. Our problem is that we spent too much time online, so we're used to dealing with Aussies and Brits and whatnot. Or at least I am. This is true. And you do your job admirably there, Kentar. Okay, let's try and land. Back that thing up. Guess what we're gonna do? That's right. Take the drills off again. Yes, absolutely. That's true. I will grant you that. I know Landry actually spent a long time on Gmod. She used to do the roleplay servers. In fact, she was a mod on a few, or at least one that I know of. I don't remember if she was a mod on some of the others. Let's get these. There we are. Okay. Boom. I need to not do that. Gotcha. Well, and that's the beautiful thing. And what I usually recommend is if you're trying to get back into Space Engineers, take it a little slow. Do a couple of smaller runs with a few mods, and then build yourself back up. Yay? Build Babylon 5 right off the bat. Just go big. Go big or go home. Okay, so I need to completely rebuild. I need to rebuild or redesign, I should say, all of this. Now I can't go too hog wild. Ooh. Sorry, got distracted right there. Hey, how you doing, Alice the Destroyer? They just released a new block for Space Engineers 2, the small storage crate. And it's primarily cosmetic right now, but it will be a standalone cargo container of sorts. Looks really cool. Okay, so what I need to do is let's pop these off. Take out this block. Yar! Yo ho ho and a fiddle-dee-dee. There we go. Okay, so what I'm... Nope, not red. Red, bad. Gray, good. That's one of the beauties of having multiple monitors, is when stuff comes through, I get to see it. So I almost always have Discord up on my third monitor. I say almost always because I sometimes also have a different web browser up on that one. In case I'm doing any sort of work, I have a additional source of reference that's available. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we put the drills back here. Where they were. No swipe. Nice. Then we take our armored conveyors. I need some steel plates for that. You there, and then a straight in the middle. Nice. I've got, I think they're two. Shit, I don't remember what size they are anymore. They're 20 somethings. And then, what is this, the 32-inch television? No, bigger than that. But anyway, TV is my main monitor. It works out really well. It has been doing its job. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think they are the 27s. But they've been good monitors for a while. I would like to eventually upgrade, but for right now. Yes, it used to be yours. Until Mom was like, you owe rent. We are taking TV. Deal with it. Nice. I don't think I have. I think you're right. Well, we'll see here in a second. Yeah, I think the floodlight would actually work well right there. Good suggestion. Glad I thought of it. Not the way it went. Nope, other way. Okay, now the drills should all work the way that they're supposed to. Let's go test them. You know what? Instead, let's go grab some gold and silver, shall we? Or better yet, magnesium for weapons. Or 4,000 decisions later, you know what? We should have just gotten some iron. Okay. This hole just a little bit bigger because, you know, I can. All right. The only thing I'm worried about, it looks like, is that being able to expand the hole, I think, is one of my minor issues. Because the setup that I had before allowed me to drill out a hole that was roughly the correct size for everything else, for the ship to go through. At least when I right-click drill, the hole is the right size. See how much magnesium we can get here. Well, yeah, obviously. Potentially, if I widen it out a little bit more, but I would then have the center area not drilling correctly. So really, the best way that I could go about that is to actually just add 2 drills to the outside. But that'll defeat the purpose a little bit, so we'll just go with where we're at. Just requires that I do things a little differently, that's all. I know, right? And then we do some more on the sides, and then we do. Just basically a big giant drill ball. Which doesn't necessarily sound terrible. It actually sounds kind of fun. Just a big ball of drills and death. No. The ultimate Beyblade, absolutely. By the way, hey Matt, how you doing, buddy? Need you to slow down, damn. Yes, I absolutely could do that. Which I've done before, strangely enough. There we go. Wow. But so far, so good, aside from this damn cough and a lack of sleep from last night. Wound up binge watching the entire season of Murderbot, which was really good show. Okay, so I've got this all done up. Let's go grab some proper stuff here. Drop off what I've got. Okay. Exactly. It's gotta be y'all. Nope, nope. That one's mine. There we go. We'll get this all outlined and then shoot. And that one's mine. Give it back. Times it. Good Lord. Get up there, please. Thank you. That's y'all. It depends on what part of the South you're in. I have noticed. Because well, and strangely enough, what type of Southern you are, which is weird, because Southern doesn't necessarily mean South like it used to. Because you've got people as far west as like Montana, and that Montana being up north is not necessarily Southern, but it is considered Southern. It's weird. And it's like Southern became an idea, and that idea spread out west is kind of how that worked. So it's one of those that the Southern experience. I know, right? Because that's what we were always taught in school. It was all about the Mason-Dixon line. That was what was the defining factor between North and South. But I think as Southerners started to spread out, they took the South with them up into the Northwest. I mean, shit. If you've ever seen that show, Letterkenny, there is a tremendous amount of Southern in those Canadians. Yeah, exactly. It's a migratory thing. There we go. Now, at this point in time, what I will probably do a little bit later on is to start looking at how I want to pipe everything together. And more specifically, where I want certain vehicles to park. Because of the fact that I've got a lot of room here, I can very easily dock like the 3 smaller ships in this one bay without any problems. But I also want to eventually start looking at rovers. I kind of want to do some rovers, whether they're larger ones or smaller ones, doesn't matter, just rovers in general. But that's the direction I want to go in with that. Let's see, I think I'm just going to go ahead and we will get rid of you for now. And then, so I was contemplating how I wanted to handle drilling this wall out. And I don't want to sit there and do another drill guide because kind of. For a trailer hitch, you need to do all 3 axes of rotation: roll, pitch, and yaw. So typically what I recommend is that you do a hinge for, actually, what do you, depending on the design of your truck and trailer, what you might want to do is do a rotor first so that you've got your, what is that? Yaw. And then you can do that, that attached to a hinge for your pitch, so up and down. And then do a hinge for your left and right. Or no. Yeah, that should be fine. Down, left, right. Oh, and then, okay, yeah. So rotor, and then a hinge, and then another rotor, because you also want it to be able to roll side to side. Rotor, hinge, rotor. So have the hinge standing up. Let's do it like this. Turn these off real quick. Okay, good. Do I have a landing gear somewhere? I'm about to. Okay. So this would be like your, this would be part of like your front end, your tractor. And then you would do rotor. And then you'd want to do, I don't have hinges there. Then you'd want to go ahead and do the hinge. And I'm going to lock this. And then you would go ahead and do another rotor. That way you have all 3 axes of movement. It also allows the hitch mechanism to sit on top of the rotor as opposed to hanging off of something. Makes it a little bit more stable. But you'll get your back and forth, which is the best option. And also make sure that this point is actually a little bit farther forward than your rearmost wheel. So it'd be like wheel here, then axis, then rotor, and then like another wheel here, and then the rest of the tractor. Because otherwise, what winds up happening is that all the weight that's on your trailer winds up going into this rotor, and it actually causes the tractor to tip backwards. Yeah, absolutely. But then also just make sure that you have enough range or distance here. Where are you going? Well, yeah, you want to be able to make sure that that's going to clear whatever your wheels are. So close enough. Yeah, that's generally how you would go ahead and do the trailer hitch. And obviously there are lots of different ways to do it. You're probably not wrong. You're welcome, Lost Soul. Always happy to help out where I can. Let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. That's one of those things that, hey, Wrath, how you doing, buddy? that I think trailer hitches are one of the most fun things to do inside of Space Engineers, because they really do open up a whole can of worms for different ways that you can construct stuff. Oh, headaches suck. You know, still got my cough, but otherwise doing all right today. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Uh-oh. What am I short on? Everything, probably. Steel plate, it looks like. All the stuff, always. Now, trains and monorails are the one thing that I have not really done. And probably something that I could do, unless something I could easily do this particular playthrough. Now, I will say, I imagine trains, monorails, that sort of stuff will actually be a lot easier in Space Engineers 2 because of the unified grid. Yeah, mono's probably not. Yeah, monorail. There's a lot of different ways that you can actually do various forms of trains. What? I want to do. What do I want to do? It's a good question. I don't know what I want to do now. I don't really have a plan. Most of the time, I'm just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. Hey, Hollows, how you doing? Kind of debating on either Dune or No Man's Sky. Honestly, I've actually also been craving a little bit of violence, but I don't know which violent game. Honestly, not contemplating giving up on sleep. Let's see. I don't have it installed. I've been keeping a very slim number of games installed because I really don't play a whole lot. Let's see. You know what? We could do some No Man's Sky, I guess. I uninstall WoW all the time too. I think it really just comes down to the fact that I get in a mood to play GTA for like a couple of weeks, and then I play it, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm done with that now. It really, well, and especially with GTA 6 coming up, it'll be doubly so at that point. But let's see. Because in Dune, really the only thing that I would be doing is just You know, I've been tempted to get Pal World, but at the same time, not tempted. I have neither one. I actually uninstalled Warframe recently as well, because I haven't been playing that either. And Helldivers is one of those that I sometimes install and then sometimes I don't. Again, the number of games that I've been keeping installed has been very small lately. Mostly because of the fact that the number of games I've actually wanted to play has been very small. I don't have Minecraft installed. Because the whole, you know, reinstalling everything from scratch thing. I don't know what's wrong with me. Actually, I know exactly what's wrong with me. There's a lot of things that are wrong with me. Yeah, it really is. Because I got a new hard drive. And I needed to install a fresh copy of Windows anyway. That copy of Windows had been reinstalled and upgraded like 2 or 3 times. So it was one of those where it was time. I've got Cyberpunk installed, but I can't show that on stream. Unfortunately. No, I can't. I legitimately, there's so much nudity in my version of Cyberpunk that I would get banned almost instantly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I actually have mods that make Cyberpunk actually Cyberpunk again. So, a proper adult Cyberpunk. Just pure 100. Yeah, there you go. Just pixels everywhere. It'll look like a Japanese porn. Shit. I think that's part of the problem, is that it's been hard for me without the 10. Well, maybe. That would be hilarious. Especially if it was something stupid and innocuous, like, I don't know, like Stardew Valley. Just blurs everywhere for Stardew Valley. But I don't know, like, there are a lot of games these days, Flash games, tempting, but I don't know. My desire for certain types of games has changed over time. And I think it's one of those that also I have become somewhat disenfranchised with gaming in certain aspects. Like, it's one of those situations where over time, gaming has changed in such a degree and in such a way that a lot of the fun is missing from it. They've sucked a lot of the soul out of gaming, I think. Because it used to be that you got excited for games. You really got worked up over the next release because it was going to be something interesting. And not necessarily it was going to have all the new stuff and it was going to have the best graphics, but it was at least going to be a new experience. And with the exception of a few franchises and a few sequels that are coming out, I don't really care about most games these days. And that's the frustrating part. But yeah, let's yes. Partly it was the stories, a little bit graphics. Like, don't get me wrong, graphics can go a long way, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like the most realistic graphic. It just has to fit the game. And you know, I haven't tried New World yet. I probably won't ever try it. I imagine so. That's the way it is for a lot of games these days, though. Is just lots of hype, very little payoff. Do I have... What other saves do I have? I do have the SS Revenge. I don't know how many of its mods are working correctly, but let's find out. Good stuff. Now, it'll take a little bit because this is a fairly massive save. 500 megabyte save. Now, granted, that's also the backup saves, but that's still, it's a lot of save to go through. Oh yeah, good old SS Revenge. This is one of those ships that I would like to bring into eventually Space Engineers 2, and or at least remake it. The other thing, I cannot wait for hinges, rotors, and pistons in Space Engineers 2, because I absolutely want to redo the Puma Mark 1 and Mark 2 in Space Engineers 2. I absolutely want to redo that ship with a unified grid, because I think that would 100% make it so much easier to build the entire thing. And especially with the updated physics model. Oh my God, that would be great. Because then the doors, the cargo bay doors, as well as the landing gear doors would be so much easier to make. And then on top of that, just the general design will be better. Yeah. Coffee good. Come on, load up. See, it takes forever to load. That it also runs a little slow too. Because again, it's a big ship. Now, it's not the largest ship that anybody's ever made. Obviously, people have made much bigger ships. That there was this great short that I saw from the set of what was it, Wednesday, and the actress who plays Enid and the actress Jenna Ortega were sitting there, and the actress who plays Enid was like, "Hey, I got to run real quick, but I need you guys to watch my friend here." And then she sets the cell phone down, and then she runs off. And for like 30 seconds to a minute straight, Jenna just sits there staring at the camera, does not blink once. The entire time, no blinking. And then Enid comes back, picks up the phone, is like, thanks for watching my friend. And it's just like, that's impressive and a little disturbing. But I think Jenna Ortega, as an actress, does a wonderful job of maintaining the feel of the character of Wednesday. That's entirely possible. She was Gandalfing us. Actually, in my book, that is a completely different thing. But yeah, we'll go with that. Yay, we're almost there. I almost expect the game to crash as soon as it hits 100%. That would actually be kind of funny. Quite totally my luck, too. Percent. There we go. There. Here she is. SS Revenge. This big behemoth. I think it needs a few more guns, but yeah, something like that. I mean, this thing definitely, it'll put a hurt on some stuff. Why do I have so much stuff on me? That's right, I've got access point over here. Something like that, yes. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Drift? And can't complain too much. I mean, I could actually complain a lot. That part's pretty easy. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I'm still refilling my okay. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Messing around with projectors is always fun. All right, those dark gray. Oh well, doesn't matter. Master. Wonder. Oops. Uranium. Plenty of fuel. Bunch of that. A bunch of... Okay, cool. Okay, so I actually do have a bunch of stuff on here. Good lord. Awesome. And actually getting to space is a lot easier than most people realize. It's really just kind of making sure that you have enough fuel and enough thrust. And a parachute hatch. If you're not sure if you're going to be able to make it back down, put a parachute hatch on your ship. And honestly, a mix of atmospheric thrusters and hydrogen thrusters works really well for that too. Gotcha. Always a good idea to have a plan. So heading out this way on purpose. That's always the question I have to ask when I start up a new, or when I go back to an old save is, was I doing this on purpose? Okay, I wonder. Here's my jump drives. There they are. What are you? Unknown signal. Unidentified signal. Unidentified. Okay. Awesome. Just gotta wait for them to charge up, and then we should be able to try and jump out to it. But that unidentified signal is one of the ones for the Factorum installations, so that we can try and get our hands on Prototech. Not that I need it, per se, but it would just be interesting. Brazier Dock Trade Station. Buddy, this ship is your trade station. But between the shields, the weapons, and literally everything else I have on here, I actually have a really bad habit of destroying everything in a Factorum base. Let's do this. Take all of you guys. Show block and terminal. Show block and terminal. So many air vents. Okay, the 500s, we are going to switch to... Okay, good. They're set to offense. Vindicators. Offense. Stingers. Slinger ACs. Awesome. SSR salvos. They target thrust subsystems. Those are... Okay, those should be fine. The Derricos are thrusters. Okay, good. So I'm just making sure that my weapons are targeting the stuff that I want them to. Offense, awesome. And then my 500 millimeters are also offensive. Okay, cool. So specifically, I want my weapons to be primarily targeting their weapon systems and then also their thrusters. Almost fully recharged. I don't think I'll be able to make the full jump, but we'll find out. Start slowing down here. Which we slow down surprisingly quick for a ship of this size. There we go. Distance, awesome. Let's see how far this gets us. Not nearly as far as I would like. Apparently there was an obstacle in the way. We are closer. And of course, more just aimless thrusting through space. Typical. Does seem to be running better, though. Before I was having some issues. Yeah, giggity. I was having some issues with performance. So it does seem to be running a bit better. Yay. Shut up, Hollows. That is actually a surprisingly large asteroid. Uh-huh. Okay. You know what? This is just going to be a whole lot of tedious back and forth, waiting for it to charge and then jumping and waiting for it to charge and jumping. So instead, we're going to say screw this and we're going to go find something else. Save. Yep, that's fine. Exit. Yep, that's fine. At least I know that save works, though. That's the important part. There we go. Let's see. Hmm. this is the problem, is figuring out what's next. Oh. Well, thank you. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. It was one of those that was just the perfect. Anytime now. There we go. Okay. Um, but yeah, it was one of those that it was like just the perfect opportunity for the screenshot to be taken. So I went with it. Okay. Well, shoot. I don't quite know what I want to do at the moment. I want to murder my headset. It's been doing great all morning and now it's having problems. I'm looking at, let's see, I'm looking at Steam. Let's turn Jeweled Universe. I have not, actually. Not on Steam. See? Don't. Okay. You mean Dual Universe? Let's see. I know RimWorld has been getting kind of exciting lately. Nothing there that looks like all that interesting. Okay. I have heard of it. I want my wish list. I've heard of it. I looked at it. It looks interesting, but it's also kind of dead at the moment. Discount my rank. Kind of wish I could afford Stellar Blade at the moment. I actually already own that. Well, at least one of them. I own Galactica Deadlock. There's actually one. Gotcha. I've looked into it a couple of times. Personally, I'm not, I don't know. I don't, I'm not heavy into multiplayer games. Let's put it that way. I will say this one right here, Starship Simulator. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've been kind of following that for a little while. And that one actually looks like a lot of fun. Also, this Engines of Destruction, I'm looking forward to as well. Let's see. There was also another one. Was it Captains of Industry, I think? Yeah, I think it's this one. No, not yet. But yeah, this Captains of Industry, I think, is one of the ones that I've been following. I think it's this one. That actually looks really interesting. Kind of a mix of something like Anno meets Factorio meets what is it? Transport Tycoon. That's what it is. Then what's one of the others? Now my sister has Forever Skies, and she actually really enjoyed playing it. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Let's see what else we've got. I played the demo for Aloft, and that was actually a pretty cool game. I actually kind of enjoyed that one. Motor Town is one that's been kind of interesting looking as well, mostly because of the fact that just in general, I kind of like, I want more driving games, but I want more open world driving games that actually have open world stuff to do. One of the things that frustrates me about the Forza Horizon series is that while there is a large map to drive around in, sometimes it feels, well, more specifically, the multiplayer for that is a little rough. All right, Matt. Have a good one. Enjoy your vacation, man. You definitely earned it, especially with all the BS that you've had to deal with over the past month or two. So try to enjoy yourself, try to relax, try and have a good time, buddy. Was this the one? I think this is one of the other ones that I was looking at. And then Ravenfield was one. Actually, you know what? Let me check something. Let me turn this off real quick so I can check something. What am I at? Oof. Because I've been looking at this Ravenfield for a while, and honestly, I blame Hero Hay on YouTube because he'll sometimes have Ravenfield up in the background of his videos, and I'm like, that looks like a lot of fun. And then also this Kanga looks really good too. It looks like it's very definitely a competitor for Star Citizen in a strange sort of way. And yeah, I'm just not sure where I want to put time and money. Oh man. Anyway, you know what? Screw it. Captain of Industry. Welcome. Okay, give me a second here. Let's go ahead. Um, Technically you can. What you want to use are event controllers to watch the cargo container that you're filling up on your mining ship. And then once it gets to a certain fill level, it turns off the mining routine and turns on the autopilot to send you back. Really? Oh, I'm about to lose my shit. I'm about to lose my shit. But essentially, it turns off the mining routine and turns on the autopilot that sends it back to base. It's a pain in the ass, but it should be doable. No, absolutely. That's what the event controller does. Is that the event controller actually watches for something to happen on the grid, and when that something happens, it then triggers an action. Okay. That. Well, it's not quite that good. In that particular case, you're going to want to look at a mining script for that side of things. I think the current mining script that everybody uses is PAM, PAM. Okay, there we go. And you get installed on that drive. There you go. All right. Wow, Captains of Industry is small. Captain of Industry. Not multiplayer. Why do I always have that up there? Because it's not multiplayer. I'm single player, you moron. Okay. Just waiting for this to download real quick, which, again, it's a tiny game. It's like just under 2.5 gigabytes worth of data, which that's tiny. Captain of Industry. It's just a Wii game. But once it gets installed here, we'll get it up and running and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's I've seen it off and on over the past year or two. It's kind of like a little bit of Factorio meets like a Anno 2020 whatever or 2088 or that sort of thing. But it's kind of a city builder, kind of a factory game. Looks pretty interesting. Let me
Welcome, captains, to.
That's the Steam page for it. And we're installed. Okay, let me get this added. Okay. There we go. Nice. Okay, settings. First of all, you need to go borderless. Yeah, that all looks fine. Sure. Cool. Okay. Let's start a new game. I've never played this before, so this should be fun. New Haven, easy, medium, hard. Okay, we'll start with easy, obviously. Captain, sailor. Yeah, we'll start with sailor. Mechanics. Yeah. That looks good. Name your game. Newton Startus. All right. This should be interesting. Wasn't quite the violence direction I was going in, but it is a direction to go in. And it kind of follows our usual sort of MO here, which is generally building sorts of games, factory management, etc. And alrighty. Welcome, Captain. Captain, we have found the island we've been searching for. It was not on the map. Our ship took a lot of damage and will need major repairs in order to sail again, but we should be safe here. Besides our initial supplies, we are starting from scratch. We should start manufacturing construction parts to be able to build our infrastructure, grow food to feed our people, and find a way to make fuel for our vehicles. A lot like Anno. The island looks abandoned, but it has plenty of natural resources that we could use. There are even some abandoned buildings around that we could disassemble for scrap. Awesome. Also, we should set up a research lab, basic, so we can reinvent all the technologies we took for granted for so long. We found out about a settlement nearby we can trade with in case we run out of something. They can deliver the goods to us once we have a trading dock. The entire crew is counting on you after everything we have been through together. Good luck. Thanks. Getting started. Iron scrap smelting. The blast furnace allows smelting products such as ores and scrap into molten materials. The metal caster can be used to cast molten materials to slabs. In order to produce iron plates, iron plate, you can use iron scrap gathered from the abandoned buildings nearby. Later on, you will be able to set up a mining operation to smelt iron ore directly. Build a blast furnace and 2 times metal caster. Connect them together using molten channel. The molten channels are needed since the molten iron is too hot to be transported by trucks. Okay. So blast furnace, and then the 2 metal casters, and then this is the molten channel. Build and attach a smokestack to the blast furnace either directly or via pipe, which can be found in the transports category. Since you don't have access to coal mining yet, build a coal maker to produce coal from wood. Don't forget to attach a smokestack to it as well. You can even share the same smokestack, which is used for blast furnace. To learn how to get wood, read the tutorial for tree harvesting. Okay. Watch the furnace recipe in progress whilst trucks automatically supply it with iron, scrap, and coal. Iron slabs produced in a metal caster will be stored there until trucks can find a place for them to be delivered. Later, you will be able to unlock and build conveyor belts to deliver iron directly to your production buildings or storage. Okay. Tree harvesting. To designate trees to be cut, select the tree designation tool, H key, and drag your cursor over the forest. Okay. Tree harvester will automatically start harvesting any designated trees. Click on the tree harvester and assign it to at least 1 truck so it can unload the harvested wood. Okay. Once trucks are loaded with wood, they will deliver it to nearby storage or any machine that requires wood. Trucks are logistics. Okay. World exploration. Awesome. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay. So yeah, this feels a lot like just if you took Factorio or Satisfactory and attached it to Anno. So what I want is take a blast furnace. Put down the 2 metal casters. Transportation. How do I bulldoze something? Let's see. That. Tree. Out of the way. Waste management, housing services. Oh, okay. No, fair enough. And that happens. Aha. Demolish. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And then I want transport. I want molten pipe. There we go. Okay. Now we're doing all right. Hopefully. Hopefully they'll actually do what they're supposed to do. Yep, there they go. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Oh, yeah, no, fair. Fair. Okay, so that takes care of those. The next is I need a... I need a coal something or other. Waste collection, food, that's iron. Okay, I'll figure it out eventually. Output is full. Okay. All right, give me a second here. We go. That feels better. Okay, so I've got... What are you? You're the food market. I need... Okay, so we've got some trees that are selected. I need housing and services, right? Let's do a basic lab. Dude, you now have a truck. I still don't have a coal something or other. I'm supposed to have the coal maker. But I don't have a coal maker. It wants me to build something I do not own. Molten forest. Ah, coal maker. There it is. Okay, we'll do that. It was actually under forestry, but it was close. Paused. Let's do... All right, we're going to get rid of that. So that way I can do... a smokestack here. No. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so the smokestack is going to get built. And then I'll be able to connect it all the way through. Okay, cool. Need one more truck on the harvester. Then I need a farm. Don't have a farm. Do I? I do have. Okay. At least I should. Okay. To dump material on the terrain, select the dumping designation tool in the bottom toolbar. Hover over the terrain, see your starting direction and elevation of the tool. Left click and drag to create a dumping designation. Important is that the dump designation should start at or below terrain, otherwise they cannot be accessed by trucks. Okay. Interesting. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. Get to that in a little bit. I imagine that's going to be important, but let's see. Next, I need a farm. I guess that's fertile ground. I mean, it's green, so that should be good. Awesome. Cool. Okay. That's housing? I guess it is. Waiting for water or rain. Okay. Now I need a diesel generator. Research lab, research construction. Waste collection. And then okay, so that's what that was all about. Huh. Okay. There we go. All right, I think I'm starting to get kind of the hang of this. We'll find out. And start construction. Start research. And then after that, I'll research the trading dock. Okay. This is probably going to take me a little while to get used to, but we're getting there. This also kind of reminds me of the game Banished, if you ever played that. That was actually a really good game. I enjoyed the hell out of that. But yeah, that's not what I say about your mom. I'm sorry. It's just, you opened that door, I had to walk through it. Aw. I feel so special. Oh, man. Okay, that's almost done. How are we doing on... utility? Okay. Always. There's no bus like the short bus. Pipe connectors. Okay, that's that. And mostly I just got to wait for, oh. There's all these rewards to collect. Oh, awesome. Okay. We're almost done. It's kind of interesting that where the trucks are constantly driving is where roads wind up at. I like that. It's it kind of reminds me of Death Stranding in that respect. All right, build assembly. Okay. And then what? Construction parts. Well, that is what I'm supposed to be building is construction parts. And boom. Waiting for products. That's input and output. Okay, cool. So there's nothing that I really need to add there. Cool. And then research. Trading dock. Just waiting on you to finish your parts. Awesome. All right. So the next thing is I'll need another assembly for get mechanical parts. I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. G is research. Okay. There we go. Produce maintenance. One. Okay. I have to research it first. Yay, build a trading dock. Okay. Cannot place in the ocean. Good to know. Aha, I see. All right. Let's put you off to... I see. I've got to put it there. Yes, yes. Right, like, first time I've ever played, so I have no idea what's going on. What are you? That's iron. So iron is something that I'm going to need more of, I think. Like... Oh, I see. Okay. So far it's interesting. It very definitely, it feels like a combination of Anno, Transport Tycoon, and Banished. If you basically stuck those three games together, that's what it kind of feels like. And I'm totally okay with that. I actually really loved Banished. I put a lot of hours into that. And so a modern version of Banished is actually kind of nice. Actually, I wonder. Made Banished. I know I have that around here somewhere. Banished store page. So Shining Rock LLC, Shining Rock Software made Banished.
Welcome, Cap.
Mafi Games made Captain of Industry. Okay. Because they feel very similar, like very, very similar. So they're probably inspired by the same basic game. There's a world map. Oh, okay. And I want... Okay, cool. So now I need to research maintenance. Start research. I'm out of wood. So let's... grab some more wood. You in there. All right, you're good. And actually zoom out quite far on the map too. That's nice. Plus there is a lot of area here. A lot of map, which is always nice. I like it when games give you a lot of area to work with, especially when you're new. Because when you're new, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And so you're absolutely going to want the extra space to work with. Not quite what I was wanting, but okay. Build a maintenance depot. Okay. Let's put this somewhere down here. Right there looks good. Now, I imagine, of course, I'm making certain mistakes like, oh my God, why would you put that there? You should put it here. It's going to be more efficient. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I kind of know. Most of these sort of pseudo RTS games, the God games or factory management games, they all basically kind of work very similar to each other. Okay, so it looks like I need production. You need oh, but I'm not actually okay. All right, cool. Okay, maintenance is done. Next up, iron ore mining. Research vehicles and mining. Start that. Cool, they've got headlights. Oftentimes that gets overlooked in games. I see. So that produces maintenance. What are you? Oh, coal. Okay. All right. Let's also save. Day one. All right. I'm going to give this just a few. I am going to take a quick AFK. I will be back in just a few moments. Actually, a little bit on the hungry side. So I'm going to go grab myself something to eat real quick. Back in just a few. We are back. And yes, grabbing the fancy tea, Dr. Pepper. But also had a couple of hot dogs. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, technically every day is National Hot Dog Day. But that's just me. I always love hot dogs. Holy Jesus. I wish I understood YouTube's algorithm. A hot dog is a stick of meat. Now, if you are adding the bread or specifically the bun, well, that is also my pee-pee. Yes, it's yeah, but if you are adding the bread to the hot dog, it depends on how one views the orientation of the meat to the bread. Because it could be a burger if you're looking at it horizontally. It could also be a taco if you're looking at it vertically. But it could also be, what else could it be? I suppose one could consider it a sandwich. But at the end of the day, it's fucking food, and I don't care what you call it. You can call it any damn thing you like, as long as it's edible. I need a vehicles depot. Logistics, vehicle depot. Let's bring this over here, I suppose. Yeah, that'll work. Connector, blah, 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 storage, unit store. Ooh. Okay, and then well, it's kind of hard to say specifically that a tortilla is not bread, because it is a type of flatbread. Since there are flour tortillas and there are corn tortillas. Tree harvester, small excavator. Okay, cool. Construct you. Right. I know that tacos are, well, not true. Soft tacos are made with flour tortillas as well. And A burrito is a wrap. A taco is a fold. So, and then is a quesadilla a taco? I mean, whether it's Taco Bell crap or not, you can still use a small tortilla for a taco, for a soft taco. So, just saying. Just saying. Let's do tools, I guess, or beacon. We'll do beacon next. And to be fair, Taco Bell didn't just invent this food initially. A lot of it came from somewhere. It had to have come from somewhere. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's stuff you stuff your food hole with. So, okay. Need 2 of those. Don't ever say that I'm smarter, because then that'll go straight to my head, and then I will start being dumb. I am very good at dumb. Oh, okay, cool. That's true content. Okay. Construct a pickup ×2, which... Okay, you guys are working on that. Build a mine control tower near iron ore deposit. Where is an iron ore deposit? It looks like this is probably copper in here. The hell is a uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mind control. Oh, gotcha. No, fair. Okay. What is a mining control tower? Storage, housing, buildings. There's a beacon. It's all smelting. That's production. Logistics. Terraform. Ah, there we go. Okay, but where is the iron? Okay. Wait for mining designation. Okay. I honestly, as far as hot dogs, it depends on how quickly I want to eat. Oh, that's iron right there. Okay. Yeah, that should work. Oh, God, yes, I boil hot dogs. What are you talking about? I boiled them, I microwave them, I've grilled them, and I've fried them. Boiled hot dogs are actually really good. An ore sorting plant. You get excavator and 2 trucks. And then enable iron recipe that uses iron ore and blast furnace. Okay. That's true. And that's one of those nice things. It's also funny the fact that depending where you're at in the world, they're either hot dogs or they're sausages. Because over in the UK, they call them sausages, which technically they would fall under that category. But here in the US, we just call them hot dogs and separate them from sausages. Sounds interesting. Wonder. Storage. Let's grab that. I guess iron ore. Okay. All right. I think I'm getting this taken care of. Okay. Now what I want is, I'm guessing, another blast furnace. Okay, yeah, so we'll do another blast furnace. with 2 more metal casters. I don't know. Let's do transport. Let's do a pipe here. Oh, whoops. Delete that smokestack. There we go. Pipe. That might not work. Let's do the molten channels first. Aha. There, excellent. Okay. And then you get the recipe for iron ore. There we go. I need a dumping zone for slag. There we go. You get more potatoes. And I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Think I'm starting to get a feel for how things are supposed to work. It's a bit odd at first, but I'm liking it. Collect my reward. And hopefully we will have lots of iron to go through. Okay. The next thing that I need is a beacon. We'll put you there. Looks good. Want more housing. Oh, okay. I'm guessing get rid of that stuff. Another. Okay. You are for more. Construction parts. And storage. Go. And then you're going to be for construction parts. You're for iron ore. Iron ore? Oh, just for iron. Okay. Set you for mechanical parts. It's coal. Let's see about getting a couple more trucks going, because Lord knows I'm probably going to need them. Oh. Got it. Got it. That's what that's for. What do you have on you? Rock, iron ore, dirt. Ah, okay. There we go. I was missing something. That's why we were having some issues. Okay, cool. Select reward. All right. I think, however, we are going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I'm liking this game. I'm liking it a lot. All right. It is a mighty interesting game. Like I mentioned before, it definitely reminds me a lot of Banished. It has that feel and that sort of playing style to it, which makes it feel like that. And it is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it so far. We will overwrite. Awesome. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Just as a reminder, last night I went ahead and posted up the tutorial for the Real Gas Giants mod for Space Engineers. So if you're interested on that, you can check me out on YouTube. Links should be on my About page. Awesome. Also, glad that you guys enjoyed watching it. Like I said, really am enjoying the game so far. Thank you for the follow there, Slickerus. Much appreciated. But we will be back tomorrow, bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern, as usual. And we'll probably get started either with this, with Dune, or with Space Engineers. Just kind of depends on what my mood is. Other than that, though, that is going to be it for today. As always, thank you all for joining me on these misadventures. So glad to have you guys along for the ride. You all have a wonderful day. Stay out of trouble. And remember, if you get caught, I don't know you. I will catch you guys tomorrow.